Yeah. Yeah, they look at the
Okay.
passport.
Come on. Oh.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
I'm in the S's list.
Me too. See now? Gotta watch it.
All right, so this is the last interview of the day, and we're about to end it strong. So, for those of you who this might be your first time hearing an interview all day, I'm gonna have to tell you who I am again. I am your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. I am the co-host of Black Lives Matter TV, the host of the Horizons Author Lounge, owner of Meet the World Image Solutions, 25-time published author. My next book, Surprise Swipe Right, will be hitting your Kindle and your bookshelves on Tuesday. And I now have the pleasure of interviewing the queen of urban fiction, Miss Kiki Swinson. So welcome to the National Black Book Festival, Kiki. Is this your first time here?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, what you've been able to accomplish with your books is nothing short of amazing. And the fact that your first book was written while you were incarcerated.
Yes.
So did you find a love for writing while you were incarcerated, or did you just decide to use that love for writing that you already had?
Okay. Okay. So my writing started when I was in college. I was in a community college while I was trafficking drugs, which landed me in prison.
Okay,
So, around 17, 18, 19 years old, I used to, traffic drugs. And that landed me in prison. But before I went to prison, I was paying for college, with the drug money. And English and communication was my major. So after I was arrested, I took an interest in writing. So I started, dabbling, with my first book. It was called "It's Like a Jungle Sometimes," and it was about women in prison. But I put it down. I was like, nah, this is not good. And then I started reading articles, and this was in the early '90s. And that'll let you know who I am. In the early '90s, Terry McMillan was very, very popular back then. So I would read Essence magazine and Ebony magazine articles on her about how she delved into the literary industry with her books, Mama, Disappearing Acts, and how much money she was making from it. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me
look into this. What she got going on?
Yeah, let me see what she has going on. So I started writing a book called Mad Shambles. That was my very, very first book. And after I was released from prison, I self-published that and only sold maybe 1,000 copies out the trunk of my car. And I wasn't satisfied with that. I used to go around, I did the grassroots thing. I would go around to, beauty salons and stuff like that, making people buy my book.
Making them buy your
making them buy it. And then I remember doing a book signing in New Jersey. And the guy said to me, he said, Kiki, you know, you did time in prison. Like he said that the hottest books out right now is Sister Soldier, Coldest Winter Ever.
Yes.
And Terry Wood's book, which was True to the Game. And he was like, Kiki, write a story about your life. So I went back to the lab and I'm like, okay, let me write a book. I thought about my life and I put it in fiction form. So I came up with Wifey. And that name stuck. And I gave the book to the guy that I did the book signing for in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He gave it to a small publisher. Her name was Crystal Lacey Winslow from Melodrama Publishing. She published Wifey, and I'm not exaggerating. It sold over 100,000 copies the first month with the book vendors in New York. Yeah. And it went on Essence Magazine, and I blew up.
First of all, that's hot. Now, you blew up in a time where we didn't have social media.
No.
We didn't have Chat GPT.
No.
We had the Essence bestseller list.
Mm-hmm.
What was that online bookstore everybody wanted to be in?
Oh yeah, with the hardcover book.
Yes, yes.
What was that? Hey, you had to have the membership.
Yes, there was a membership, and you would get the. This is before that.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what we had. We had listserv.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people don't. If all of that were taken away right now, there'd be a lot of authors who wouldn't know how to hustle.
They wouldn't.
So can you talk a little bit about what you did to hustle? I mean, and I don't know what you meant by making people buy your book, but I'm intrigued.
What I mean by so so you know, back in the day, when did so I went to prison and came home in 96. So Mad Shambles came out in 99 and Wifey came out in 2002. So in that time, you know, we had the book vendors. So I would go on the street and do book signings at the book vendors. Walden Books was out back then.
Walden and Borders.
Right. They were very supportive. They had my own little section, Kiki Swinson section. And so I would go around, like the grassroots thing back in the day was just going around and hustling and going to beauty salons and just being in people's faces, you know, like the book vendors, they were near bus stations and train stations. So it was easy to get the book in. And so we didn't have social media, like you said. So we had to really get out there and do book signings, you know, and then of course, Amazon came in with the digital thing. So there's a lot less book signings now because people can download the book. But yeah, so the grassroots thing for me back in the day, for me to get my name out there was doing book signings and, you know, the street vendors and Borders and Walden's bookstore, because Barnes and Noble didn't really carry our book back then.
Right.
And thank God for the Black-owned bookstores that subscribed to the Essence bestsellers list, because it was a lot of Black-owned bookstores back in the day. There are not any more Black-owned bookstores anymore. So that kind of crippled us too. Yeah.
So now, some of you may not remember that Essence Magazine actually did have a bestseller list. Yeah. And we, as readers, would always purposely go to that page to see what the top 5 books were.
Yes.
Authors valued that list more than they valued the New York Times bestseller list.
Yes.
Because Essence was ours, and we wanted to be known in our media.
Yes. Yes.
So how did your hustle change as technology changed?
I got lazy. Because it's like I had, you know, because again, you know, starting out from hustling, you know, the streets. And then when the ebook came into play, all I had to do was just tell people, like Facebook had just came out in what, like 2007. So all I had to tell people that my book was out and go download it, and I didn't, all I had to do was just show a picture of my book cover, and people will go buy it, they'll download it. And so that kept me from going out and doing book signings and interacting with my fans, so it made me lazy. It's a good thing, but then it's a bad thing.
Yeah, there's always a blessing and a curse in everything.
Yeah.
So I need to talk about Ava. I think Ava's misunderstood. No, seriously though. I mean, so I read Amber Alert.
Okay.
And I'm in the process of reading Hunting Ava. And I really understand why Ava is the way she is. And like I was saying before our interview, I'm like, I just wanted to let up because I feel like sometimes she's too hard in places where she doesn't need to be as hard. But she doesn't want to get hurt again. So for me, she's such a complicated character. And I think that's the great thing about her character. Because sometimes you don't know whether to cheer for her or just shake her for a minute.
Well, I'm gonna say this, without giving the story away. Mama Bear, they're gonna always protect their children.
Absolutely.
And a lot of my books that I've written over 55 books. I've sold close to 4 million copies. Been on New York Times twice.
That's just amazing.
So I not only was on Essence Magazine, I went on New York Times twice. But the characters that I write about has, you can see a lot of me. So if you know me personally, you'll know that, on the exterior when you first meet me, I'm not shy, but I got to sit back and watch you. And that's how she is. But once I get to know you, I'll let you come in, and if I feel safe. So that's how she is in the book. She loves hard, but it's like once she finds out who you are, she's just gonna stand on eliminating you.
Right. You've already told her who you are, and she listened.
Right. So again, a lot of the characters that I write about is based on my characters. And so that's what it is. But not only that, women in general, we have a lot of layers.
We do.
We have a lot of layers. We could love you one minute and we want to kill you the next. So again, I love writing. I've been doing it for 20 years. I consult people now because, I'm in the industry. Like I get people all the time asking me, was that character based on you? And I'm like, if it wasn't, it was somebody that I know, So because I've been in the industry for, 20 plus years, I've gotten the accolades. It made me a multimillionaire. And so I have the finger on the pulse. I also ghostwrite for people and I edit books, and I get a lot of people saying, can you review my book? Can you review my book? And it's like,
can you review my book?
And I tell them, I said, send it to me, but you got to give me a deposit. I'll review it, and I'll give you my feedback, and I'll even tell you what to change it at. So, because I've had all that experience, 20 plus years of experience, I do help where I can, but I also charge. You understand for my experience,
But you have to. Because unfortunately, the literary industry has gotten to a place where yes, it's very saturated, and there are many people who think that that nothing should be paid for. That I actually heard a person, or I saw it because it was on social media. The guy said that you should not pay anything to publish a book. You should not pay for anything. And they were like, well, what about? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, well, what your book look like?
Yeah.
Because you've got to pay for something.
You have to.
But now, with all that said, the fact that you've been able to become a multimillionaire in the literary industry is something that many people aspire to. And I know one of your pieces of advice is going to be, to charge what you're worth. But what are some other
Yeah.
things that you've been able to do that's contributed to that multi-million status?
Okay. All right. So writing the Wifey series definitely took me into the $1 million status. But I grew my money by real estate investments, and I also produce films now. So I write scripts, and I have 3 films right now that are out. One is called Playing Dirty. The other one is called The Candy Shop, and the last one I just released a couple of weeks ago called A Sticky Situation. Now, all of these are adaptations of my book. So so in addition to writing, I also, produce, and I work on other people's projects too. Yeah, so that's how I'm able to diversify, my money, and
So in other words, she's putting in the work, y'all. It's like she's just not sitting there
yeah,
waiting for y'all to buy her book.
yeah, no, I'm not.
But I still say that what you're able to do is great, and it's something that a lot of people are trying to aspire to.
Yeah.
So I love, and I also love the fact that you have pivoted. You're still writing,
Yeah.
but you've also pivoted to producing films. So can you tell me about when you first decided that this was the direction that you wanted to take the stories?
Okay, so back in 2010, Kenya Barris, who wrote Blackish, okay, he reached out to a friend and asked. He said, "Hey, I heard about the Wifey series."
Mm-hmm.
And so back in 2010, Kenya Barris got the option to turn the Wifey series into a HBO Max series. I was in talks with him and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. They were supposed to produce it, but the deal fell apart. So when he reached out and said something about it back in 2010, I'm like, wait a minute, I must have something. So that's what got me sitting up, and I became alert, like, okay, it's not just about the books.
Yeah.
You can take this to the next level.
Yeah.
So his interest sparked something in me, and it's like, okay, you got something. But not only that, after that deal fell apart, I was in touch with Mona Scott, CBS, Phil McGraw's son. He has production studio out in LA. So I've been in many rooms with people, but what I've come to realize is that they want your IP. They don't want to license anything. They want to take over your stuff, and I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So what I did was I said, let me go ahead and invest my own money and do the films on my own. So that's what I did.
Yes, ownership. Y'all heard that earlier when Eric LaSalle was speaking, and he talked about the importance of ownership.
Yes.
And that helps you to have more control over your content and how you want your story to be presented.
Absolutely.
Now, the other good part about it is you didn't have to go. Well, one thing I like about your stories, you didn't have to go begging people to help you with your stuff. First of all, they were coming to you.
I did do some begging. No.
I'll let you explain.
Okay, so I to say that I was begging. Okay, so it's like when I was approached by these opportunities, it's like they were dragging their feet.
Yeah.
And so what I mean by begging is I would email them, follow-ups. Hey, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, this is good. Don't give up this opportunity. But eventually, nothing transpires. So that's what I mean by begging.
That's different.
Yeah.
Because you basically just telling people to stay true to your word.
Yeah.
So now you have 3 movies on Tubi right now?
Yes.
Okay, and tell them what it means by feature. Feature does not mean that my movie's on Tubi. It means that they're pushing your movie, right?
Yes, people are watching it. So when you, like, if anybody is interested in turning their books into a film, and you get like a third party distributor to get your book on that platform, I mean your movie on that platform, they'll just stick it up there. And I noticed that with my first film, Playing Dirty, they just stuck it up there. And so you just got to get people to get behind it. You know, you got to get people, and Facebook is so whack, because I hope we're not on Facebook right now.
I'm on Facebook. You're going to make them shut us down.
But what I'm saying is, it's like they make you buy ads now, and then they only send it to a small percentage of your followers.
Right.
You have like over 50,000 followers, and that on that platform, and it's like only maybe 1,000, if that, gets my post.
Right.
And it's like they'll tell you, okay, we're going to send it to 10,000 people. It's BS, you know. So what I'm saying to you about Tubi is, you have to, like, people have to watch it. I've had so many people tell me, oh, I'm gonna watch it. I'm like, okay, well, look, if you don't watch it, just play it and just walk off, because I get paid by commercials on Tubi. So if you don't want to watch Sticky Situation, just put it on and let the commercials play, and then I'll get paid for it. But but to get it featured, that means that people are watching it. Yeah, because they're in the algorithm. It's in the algorithm, and they're like, okay, let's feature this because people are watching it. Now I'm trying to get it to the most popular, because when it's in most popular, that means that the money is going to start coming in. At first, it started the recommended list, so that means traction was building. Now it's in featured, so the next step is, popular, most popular. So yeah.
You know what? What's sad about what you're saying is, and don't get me wrong, because one of my favorite TV shows right now is Beyond the Gates, and I remember when they started advertising Beyond the Gates, and they said, "Hey, there's going to be a new Black soap opera coming out. We've got to support it." And they said the same thing that you said. Even if you don't want to watch it, just go ahead and let it run. And I rarely hear people saying that about regular people. I rarely hear people saying, I'm going to buy 2 or 3 of your books because I want you to succeed. I want you to hit the bestseller.
They're not going to do
it. And you're basically begging people to do that. When you might, there's a lot of authors out there who have turned their books into films, and they were on Tubi, but you don't see the campaign saying, my friend has a movie on Tubi. Let's go ahead and all watch it so she can get to that most popular.
Right.
We're not saying that, but we do it for TV shows and actors and people who already have platforms.
Yes,
but we won't do that. I remember, in no shade to Colin Kaepernick, but when Colin Kaepernick got that Nike deal, and then all of a sudden a lot of magazines were upset, and they were saying that they weren't going to buy Nike because they wanted Nike to go out of business. Black folks went out there and bought 20 pairs of Nikes because they wanted Colin Kaepernick to succeed. But we can't get these same people to buy 20 copies of their friends' book, or get 20 people to watch their movie
for free. It doesn't even, you don't even pay for it. Yeah, it's you know what, to piggyback off of what you said, is you said something. I've seen people on social media, they will say Tyler Perry has a movie that's getting ready to come out, who already has the money for advertisement. But if someone local has a movie, they will not repost that flyer, that movie flyer on their social media. But they will post Tyler Perry or a Lifetime movie. Oh, this is a must see. It's sad. It's sad. We got to do better. We do, especially if the movies are free. And see, with Tyler Perry, he has a deal with Netflix now. So, but
he basically owns BET Plus.
Right. So it's like it's sad. We got to do better, you guys. We do. We'll say, oh, I'll watch the movie next week. Look, just put it on tonight. Even if you just, washing clothes and you're not even paying any attention. Just support. So watch Sticky Situation, you guys. A Sticky Situation.
Well, tell us what it's
on
about.
Tubi. On Tubi.
Tell us what it's about.
Sticky Situation is an adaptation of my book that I wrote many years ago. I sold like over maybe 500,000 or 600,000 copies of it. And Sticky Situation is about a probation officer who had an affair with her parolee and gave him permission to go back to the streets to make money, which is the worst thing she could have ever done. And he gets out there and cheats on her and everything. And so she's ready to send him back to jail. Okay. Yeah, so that's what Sticky Situation is about. Yeah.
I'm gonna go turn my Tubi on.
She's ready to send him back to jail. Yeah, you out there cheating on me with all these women, you gotta go back to jail.
So I mentioned Hunting, which is your newest book.
Yes.
Why don't you tell everybody about Hunting Ava? What's that book about?
Okay. Hunting Ava is the sequel to Amber Alert. And Amber Alert is about a young lady used to do a lot of high value car theft. And she got out of the game and she got married and settled down and had kids. Her kids get kidnapped. So that's why it's called Amber Alert. And then she has to come up with the ransom money to get them back. So Amber Alert is, so Hunting Ava is part 2 to Amber Alert. And in Hunting Ava, she gets real down and dirty in part 2.
It's kind of hard to talk about Hunting Ava without giving away Amber Alert.
Right. So that's why I didn't want to say what happened.
She's trying very hard not to give away Amber Alert. Yeah. But I will say, read Amber Alert and then read Hunting Ava.
Yeah.
Because the two
we
go
have
hand
them both.
in hand.
We have them both over there.
Oh, yeah. And both of the books are in the front and the back, whichever way you want to look at it. It's up there where the t-shirts are being sold. And then Kiki will be sitting at that table signing her books. But before we end, does anybody have any questions for Kiki? No questions? Oh, wait, we got a question right back here.
Script? Well, there's a couple of what is it? Full Sail. They'll teach you, but they have some script writing courses online that you can take.
I know about Full Sail.
Yeah.
Bring it up a little bit higher.
So yeah. Yes. Are you want to do that? Okay. Yeah. I would say go that route, because there are a lot of people that said they'll teach you how to write a script and they'll take your money and then, they'll just, it wouldn't be standard, industry standard, because I write scripts, but I don't have the time to teach it. Because like I coach people in the publishing industry. So it's like to take on that, it's more intricate when you do script writing because there's an industry standard and it's like it's more, when you do scripts. So I would say go the school route of Full Sail versus getting someone to teach you how to do it because they'll scam you. I can't hear you.
So how do you get people to notice the script and want to, if you turn the script into a movie, how do you get
you know what? There's where are you from? Okay, well, this is the thing. A lot of people want to get noticed by Hollywood, and Hollywood will take your script, and if they like it, they may just want to push you out the way and write it in a different they'll like come in and curtail it or curtail it to their own. Like they'll take your character out and add, like they'll just go ahead and just mess it all up because they like the idea behind it. I'm fumbling with words right now in my mind because I'm thinking about an incident that happened. But yeah, Hollywood will take your stuff if it's good, and they'll just move you out of the way. So my thing for you is to just like go to like some pitch meetings. Like if you see somebody doing local pitching, or get an investor to do it, because they'll hold your, like just say for instance, if they liked it and they kept you around, they're going to grab your IP, they're going to keep it, and then they may hold on to your stuff for like 5-10 years and maybe never do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've heard of that happening. You know, scripts are option. That just means that they have the option of whether they want to use it or not.
Yeah, they're just holding on to it. Yeah.
Not
to discourage you though, not to discourage you, because if you really want to do that, not to discourage you, because some people get through the cracks, but a lot don't. Okay. So if you feel like you got something good, try to find an investor. Yeah.
Did you have a question?
To self-publish is a lot of work. So I like the traditional publishing way. I love that I have a publishing deal. But me starting out as a self-publisher, I know what it takes. So I'm glad I've been on both sides. So to be a self-publisher, you gotta be committed.
Yeah.
You know, and again, there's a lot of publishers. Like when I tell you, people ask me all the time, have you heard of this author? Have you heard? I said, no, I have not heard of that author, because this industry is so saturated with new authors. I've been in the game for 20 years, you know, so I don't know who these new authors are. But my thing is, if you want to rise up and be known, you're going to have to like fight through all, I don't want to say weeds, but you're going to have to like show that your story is different from theirs.
Right.
Yeah. So, but then traditionally, I have Kensington behind me, so I have a publicist that gets me gigs and get everything set up for me like this right here. You know, but if you're doing it by yourself, if you're self-published, you're gonna have to do everything yourself. So it's yeah. I think being self-published back in the day is better than it is now. Yeah.
But whether you're self-published or traditionally published, presenting yourself as professional, so they can't look at your book and say, "Oh, that was obviously self-published."
Yeah.
That always helps.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, one more question. Bring it up a little bit.
No, 100 in the first month.
100,000 in the first month.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Said it again. Okay. Because there were a lot of authors back then, so the industry wasn't saturated. I had a great story, and I think I was the only young lady besides one other who had did time and came home and wrote about her life. So people were more interested in hearing about, okay, this is based on a true story. So I believe that that's what attributed to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome. Does anybody have any other questions? All right. Well, Kiki, I really enjoyed our interview. It was a pleasure to
Thank
finally
you.
meet you in person. And like I've been following your books for a very long time, but it's always a pleasure when I get to actually put a face with the book, and we got to do that today. So I want to thank you for what you've been able to pour into this industry. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. Like I said, if anybody would like a copy of Kiki's book, you go right up there. Remember, you got to get Amber then read Hunting Ava. Don't try to read it that way around because you're going to be confused.
Yeah, don't be confused.
All right.
Thank you.